Pythagorean theorem, if triangle ABC is a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared in this case. In fact, if you guys also, if you want to, actually the notes are already there. If you want to do this on Kami, you're more than welcome to do it on Kami as well. It's up to you. Yeah? You would just have to load it into Kami. That's all. Okay? How about we do that? I'll give you a minute if you want to do it on Kami. Alrighty, so how we doing? Getting it uploaded? Okay. All right, so just some things you need to be aware of. First off, A and B are called the legs of a triangle. Okay, and C is the hypotenuse. And what's really, the hypotenuse you will always find directly across from the 90-degree angle. So when you work on these, I highly, highly recommend that you always identify the hypotenuse first so that you can understand where the legs are after that, okay? Because the legs are just whatever's not the hypotenuse. Okay. So let's move on from here. I'm going to clear the screen. So let's take a look at some examples. So the first thing I want to do is I want to identify here, we're going to solve for x to simplify the answers. Take out your calculators. It's going to be helpful. So the first thing I want to do is I want to identify my A, B, and C. So if I draw an arrow directly across from that right angle, I know that this is my C, and it doesn't matter what I put as A and B after that. I just know that they're the legs, okay, that create that 90-degree angle. So when I substitute this into A squared plus B squared equals C squared, that means I'm substituting in for A. I can substitute in X. The B squared ends up being 7 squared, and my C squared ends up being 25 squared. Now from here we solve. We're going to square the 7 and the 25. Someone tell me what's 7 squared? What's 7 squared? Anybody? Bueller. All right, let's go to Delta Math, and I will call on somebody since there are no volunteers. Gianna, what's 7 squared? 49. All right, so I'm going to rewrite this as x squared plus 49. And let's see. Gianna, what's 25 squared? What'd you get? 625. Okay. So after you square everything, you just continue on. You're going to subtract the 49 from each side. Now let's see. I need Samira. What is 625 minus 49? 576. So x squared equals 576. Who can tell me what do I do next after this? Okay. Devin, what do you think? What do I do after this? So this is a square. How do I get rid of a square? I'm sorry? Take a square, begins with an R. Square, what's that? Square root, yeah. Take the square root of both sides. Someone tell me, what does x end up equaling here? Was it? 24. Okay. Now, usually, you learned in Algebra 1 that you have a plus value and a minus value when you take the square root, right? But we can't really use the negative value because lengths are always supposed to be positive, okay? Questions on that? All right, let's take a look at number 2. I am going to erase this. Now, looking at this, there's some things happen here. This is an isosceles triangle, and this is what we call an altitude. It goes from a vertex to the midpoint. And with an isosceles or equilateral triangle, it will create a right angle. But it also creates a midpoint. So this part is congruent to this part, leaving this with 3 as our answer, okay? Or as that part. So if I redrew this triangle, I would have 3, no, not 9, sorry. 3, this would be x, and then this would be 9. And again, the 9 is my hypotenuse, so that's my C value. So this is C, I can make this A and this B, it doesn't matter. So substituting that in, this will be x squared plus 3 squared equals 9 squared. Someone tell me, what does x equal? I want you guys to solve for that. What do we get? Sophia, what do we get? What'd you get? 8.5. Nice job. That's it. Does anybody need to see this? All right, let's try the next one. So someone tell me, what is my C value here? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of ignore this triangle and just focus on that one. Someone tell me, what is the C value? Is it 6, X, or 4? Go ahead. It's X. So this is C. That makes, you can make this one A and this one B. So I'm going to have here 6 squared plus 4 squared equals X squared. Someone tell me, what does X equal? Broden. What does X equal? Not 100. That's X squared equals, let's see, 36 and 16. I don't think that's 100. Luis, what does X equal? What's 6 squared? 36. What's 4 squared? 16. All right. What is 36 plus 16? 52. All right. Now we take the square root of each side. Connor, what do we get? 7.2. Nice job. Okay. Questions? Okay, guys. So let's take a look at what a Pythagorean triple is. Anybody still writing this down before I erase? All right. Pythagorean triple, if 3 sides of a right triangle are whole numbers. This does not work for decimals. All right. And it doesn't work for negative values, obviously. Okay. Then they are called a Pythagorean triple. So an example of a Pythagorean triple is 3, 4, 5. It is a Pythagorean triple because, remember, if we're using a squared plus b squared equals c squared, one thing we will know is that the larger value is always the longer side. That automatically makes it our C value. The hypotenuse is always longer than the 2 legs, okay? So if I do 3 squared plus 4 squared, I'm seeing if that equals 5 squared. This leaves me with 9 plus 16 equals 25. We have 9 plus 16 leaves me with 25. Since those work, that ends up being a Pythagorean triple. It ends up being a very nice answer. Now the question here is 4, 5, 6 a Pythagorean triple? Why don't you guys take a peek at that and remember 6 is your C. Apply the Pythagorean theorem there and tell me if it's a triple or not. All right, yes or no? Is it or is it not? No, it's not. All right, and I think what happened was It's 4 squared, remember, plus 5 squared equals 6 squared, okay? So you end up getting 16 plus 25 equals 36. 16 plus 25 gives you 41, which is not equal to 36. So this is not a triple. All right, so it also says here, it says, we can also check to see if 3 side lengths form a triangle, all right? So if A plus B is greater than, oh my God, where's my thing? Oh, there we go. Is, sorry, things went weird. All right. Is greater than C, they form a triangle. So if those two add up, they're a triangle. And they have to be bigger than C. If it's less than or equal to C, then it's not a triangle to begin with. It means that it's kind of falling short. There's like a gap there. Okay. So the sum of the two legs has to be greater than the hypotenuse for it to be a triangle. Questions, or anybody still writing? Okay. All right, so determine if the sides of the triangle below would make a triangle, a right triangle or no triangle. So step 1 is to check if the 3 sides form a triangle. So A plus B has to be greater than C, and then check to see if it is a right triangle to make sure that these two are equal. Okay, if it's not equal, then it's not a right triangle, but it could still be just a triangle. So looking at part 1, 8, 15, 16. Now remember, this is going to be our longest side. So I'm going to do 8 plus 15, and we're going to see what's going on with it in terms of 16. 8 plus 15 ends up being what? 23? 23 is greater than 16, so this is definitely a triangle. Okay? Since it's a triangle, let's see if it's a right triangle. So I'm going to take 8 squared plus 15 squared, and I'm going to see if it equals 16 squared. Someone tell me, is this a right triangle? What do you guys think? No, it's not. I think what you end up getting is, I think you get like 289 is not equal to 256, right? So it's just a triangle. Let's take a look at letter B. So for letter B, we're going to work with 7, 24, and 25. Now remember, this has to be our longest side. So in this case, we're going to have 7 plus 24 with 25. That is definitely greater. All right, so it is definitely a triangle. Now we're going to check to see if it's a right triangle. So we're going to do 7 squared plus 24 squared, and we're going to see if that equals 25 squared. This ends up being 49 plus 576 equals 625. If I add these up, are they equal? Yes, they are. 625 definitely equals 625. So therefore, we have not just a triangle, we have a right triangle. Try the next two on your own. C and D. I want you to try those two. Go ahead. Who's still working on C and D? Okay. For letter C, Brendan, what do you think? What's going on? Is it a triangle, right triangle, or not a triangle?
Right triangle.
Try again.
Not
Not a triangle, right? 4 plus 5 is not greater than 7. So this is not a triangle. Letter D. What do we have here? Rebecca. Okay. It is a right triangle. Rebecca, you get the next one. Does anybody need to see any of these? Oh, what help if I spell triangle right? All right, let's take a look at this next part. So it says the converse of Pythagorean theorem. It states if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then triangle ABC is a right triangle. So we have the Pythagorean theorem that helps solve one of the sides of the triangle. The converse helps to prove that it's a right triangle. Okay. So here's the Pythagorean theorem, just showing the sides and then showing that it's a right triangle. Are there any questions on this? Anything at all? Okay, I want homework done before you leave. It's on Delta Math. You have half a period to complete it all. So get going, all right? And I want it to be 100. Oh, well, okay. So you can't get 100%, but I want the things you can get 100% on to be 100%. Does that make sense? There's like one question on there that you get 2 attempts and that's it. So, but everything else should be 100. All right. But I want it done before you leave. If it's not done before you leave, it will be a 0. Sound good? All right. Have at it. Those of you watching home, have a great day.